Hey guys, this month on Moto Mechanic we're going to show you how to inspect and install a new clutch. Okay, first step you want to do is obviously make sure you got a nice clean bike, clean working area around the clutch. You don't want anything falling into the engine. And next step, remove the rear brake, get it out of the way, just to make life easy when you pull the cover off and give yourself plenty of room to work. You can just let the rear brake hang down. Next step, just go around, crack all your clutch cover bolts. Just undo them all one by one. A good idea, if you're not sure on where each bolt goes, have a nice clean rag laid out on the ground and just pull them out and put them in the same order you've pulled them out of the cover. Just makes life easy on reassemble. And then just pull your cover off. Just inspect the O-ring, make sure it's all nice and clean. There's no splits or dirt or grit in the way. Okay, next step, same again, just work your way around, uncrack the pressure plate bolts. I like to undo these diagonal, so do one side and go straight across the other. Just keeps the even weight down. I normally just come 3/4 of the way out until I get them all out. Okay, now that the main pressure of the springs is undone, I just go around and take each one out one by one, lay them down on the clean rag. Now you've got your bolts and springs out, your pressure plate should just lift out like so. Just each time you pull each and every part out, just inspect for any unusual wear or cracks or anything. Each and every bike's different. Sometimes you can get your fingers down and get the whole pack out. I just pull a certain amount of the pack out that I can get, lay it face down, and you can get a couple of screwdrivers. I get the 2 longest bolts and just lift the rest of the pack out like so. There you go, the clutch is pulled apart. You can inspect all the hub wear, inner hub wear. Okay, now that we've checked all the internal parts for any excessive wear, grooves and whatnot, all this looks very normal. We'll move on to the clutch spring. Checking your owner's manual for the length the spring needs to be at. Just grab a pair of verniers and measure the length of the spring. Basically, once these sag out, there's not the correct tension on the pack that you need. Also, measure the complete pack height and compare those 2 measurements to your owner's manual and see where you're at. Also, with your fibres and steels, in the fibres just look for any obviously wear, dry spots, glazing up that the fibre can do, and then on the steel just make sure it's not blue, burnt, warped. This one is fine. Also, just take note when you do pull the clutch out of the bike that it stays in the correct order, and you have this, take note of the way the steels come out. They have a rounded edge and a flat edge, so just make sure you take note of when the clutch comes out of the bike, it goes back in the same order. Alright, we've got a new clutch here to put into the bike. It's already been pre-oiled, so make sure it's a good idea before you put new steels and fibres in that you do oil the fibres up. Gives you a lot longer clutch life. And then put them back in the order that they came out. Obviously starting with the fibre, move on to the steel. Okay, now that we have all those sitting in, take your pressure plate, put it back on, make sure it sits in there nicely. Next step, take all your new springs, sit them in there, and just go around and start off all your spring bolts Make sure they're going in straight. You don't want to cross thread any of these. Okay, so once you got all those started finger tight, just grab your T-bar and hose tighten halfway down, go opposite, halfway down again, work your way through. You want to try and keep as even pressure as possible. Make sure they're all just nipped up. Next step, check your owner's manual for the torque setting on the clutch bolts. It's very important. These can be easily over tightened and snap one of the arms off. So set the torque for your bike, and then same again, just go around and work opposites. There you go, clutch is back in, pressure plates, it's all tightened down. Next step, make sure there's no dirt, splits in your O-ring, or if your bike runs a gasket, make sure the gasket's clean. Nothing around there. Same again, just go around circle, just nip them all up. Okay, once again, you've gone around and nipped them all up for T-bar. Get your torque setting. Just run around. There we go. It's all back in there, nice and tight, torqued up correctly. Final step now, we'll just put our rear brake bolt back on. Make sure the spring's connected. Get that up nice and tight, and these have the Yamahas have a safety pin that goes in the back. And then just pump it up, make sure your rear brakes. Okay, so once you've tightened everything up, stand your bike back up, put it on the stand. Make sure the clutch is disengaging correctly, pull it in and out a few times. Make sure the adjustment and the correct free play is there, and that's the job done. Okay, so I hope that's helped you in some way. I was going to say some way. I hope that's helped. Okay, so I hope that's helped. Make sure you check back next month for more Moto Mechanic tips.